President Donald Trump granted an exclusive interview aboard Air Force One, addressing pressing issues that impact both domestic and international affairs. His remarks touched on the U.S. economy, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, and military strength, offering insights into his administration's priorities and strategies. While his statements provided some clarity on key topics, they also left room for speculation and raised critical questions about the future trajectory of U.S. policy.
It's going to bring it back, and I think it's going to make us, bring us to a level that we've never had before. The tariffs are going to be the greatest thing we've ever done as a country. It's going to make our country rich again.
One of the most significant aspects of the interview was President Trump's characterization of the U.S. economy as being in a transition period. He stopped short of acknowledging a potential recession, instead painting a picture of economic adjustment. This statement comes amid fluctuating markets, growing concerns over inflation, and the Federal Reserve's ongoing efforts to stabilize interest rates. The ambiguity of the term transition period raises questions about whether the administration is downplaying economic concerns or genuinely optimistic about economic recovery. Historically, economic downturns have been softened by government intervention, but Trump has largely championed free market policies. His refusal to explicitly address the possibility of a recession may reflect confidence in his administration's fiscal strategies, but it also leaves many wondering whether the White House is prepared to counteract a potential downturn effectively.
I mean, the Democrats want that. They want to destroy the country. So I can't tell you, but it could happen. They're out of control. They've lost their minds.
Trump's comments on the Ukraine conflict were among the most anticipated of the interview. He suggested that the U.S. is close to lifting the pause on intelligence sharing with Ukraine, signaling a shift in policy. While he did not disclose specifics, the statement hints at renewed American involvement in the conflict, which has been a divisive issue among policymakers and the public alike. On one hand, resuming intelligence sharing could strengthen Ukraine's defensive capabilities and signal continued U.S. support. On the other, it raises questions about Trump's broader diplomatic approach. Is this a step toward greater engagement, or merely a strategic move to pressure Ukraine into peace negotiations? Trump's optimism about impending peace talks suggests he envisions an endgame, but the feasibility of such a resolution remains uncertain. Without further details, his remarks leave room for speculation on how the administration plans to balance military aid, diplomatic efforts, and public sentiment.
Well, I think they will sign the minerals here, but we want them to, I want them to want peace, right? Hundreds of people died in cities in Ukraine, and we got to get it stopped. It's a killing field, and we got to stop it. And if I can stop it, I'll be very happy.
Another key topic was military strength, an area where Trump has historically positioned himself as a hardliner. He emphasized his administration's efforts to rebuild and enhance U.S. military capabilities. Given recent geopolitical tensions, bolstering military readiness is not surprising, but his comments invite scrutiny. Expanding military strength often comes at a significant financial and political cost. With economic concerns looming, some may question whether increased defense spending is the best allocation of resources. Moreover, ramping up military capabilities can be perceived as an escalation, particularly by global adversaries. The lack of specifics regarding military expansion leaves open-ended questions about whether the focus is on technological advancements, troop increases, or strategic deployments.
They did a great job.
Russia, China, and Iran are doing military exercises together. Does that concern you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Why not?
Because we're stronger than all of them. We have more power than all of them. I rebuilt the military. Unfortunately, Biden did nothing with it, but I rebuilt the military.
While Trump's interview touched on critical topics, much of his rhetoric remained broad, leaving analysts and the public to piece together the implications. His avoidance of directly addressing a recession, the lack of detail on intelligence sharing, resumption, and the vague references to military strengthening all contribute to an air of ambiguity. This approach is not uncommon in politics, where strategic messaging often outweighs transparency. However, given the stakes involved, ranging from economic stability to international conflict, clearer communication would serve to reassure both the American public and global allies. The administration's next moves will be crucial in determining whether Trump's statements are backed by concrete action or merely political positioning.
You know, I say they don't have the cards. Nobody really has the cards. Russia doesn't have the cards. They don't have. What you have to do is you have to make a deal, and you have to stop the killing. It's a senseless war, and we're going to get it stopped.
President Trump's Air Force One interview provided a glimpse into his administration's priorities, but it left more questions than answers. His comments on the economy, Ukraine, and military strength suggest a leadership style that prioritizes strategic messaging over definitive policy declarations. As the nation navigates economic shifts, geopolitical tensions, and domestic challenges, the true impact of his policies will unfold in the coming months. Until then, both supporters and critics will be watching closely, waiting to see whether his words translate into meaningful action.
All I know is this: we're going to take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we're going to become so rich, you're not going to know where to spend all that money. I'm telling you, you just watch.